This is episode 20 with LinkedIn coach, business consultant, and speaker Ted Prodromou.
You may know the destination, but do you know the path to take you there? This is Profits to Wealth. We shorten the time it takes for entrepreneurs to find true success through guided conversations alongside industry elites. We'll cover your commonly asked questions and dive into the skills, tactics, and lessons learned from business professionals who've turned the industry on its head through experience, critical thinking, as well as practical money management. It's time to talk business, money, and freedom with your host, Jack Marino Jr.
Helen Keller said, "Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see a shadow." Welcome to Profits to Wealth. This is your host, Jack Marino Jr. Today on the show, I'll be interviewing Ted Prodromou. Ted is the author of The Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business, as well as a speaker, author, and online advertising consultant, generating leads for his clients using Google AdWords, Facebook ads, LinkedIn, Twitter, and other social media platforms. Ted, I'm so excited to have you as a guest on Profits to Wealth today. We're going to talk about LinkedIn. We're going to talk about business consulting, and I'm here to learn, and I hope the listeners are as well. And so again, thank you for your time, and I'm excited to hear from you.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
Absolutely, because as we record this, it's March 26th, 2020, and we're in the middle of some interesting times with this COVID-19, and I think there's been a lot of folks that have had to transition their workforce and their business to do more web-based business, e-commerce, or even just, technology that allows them to have business continuity. And so I think, obviously, marketing is always something that you want as a business owner to focus on. Marketing, innovation are the two keys to success in business. So marketing is always going to be a great topic to talk about, especially LinkedIn marketing. But I think now more than ever, people need your expertise. So again, thank you for your time. So let's start out with the first question is, how did you start your own entrepreneurial journey?
Well, it's been an interesting ride, I have to say. This isn't my first disruption. I was in the tech world from 1980 to 2000. So I worked for companies like IBM and Digital, and I was the employee number 40 at Cellular One.
Wow.
Back when we had 500 subscribers in the San Francisco area.
So you've seen a lot of changes then in technology.
Yeah, they said someday everybody's going to have a phone that fits in your pocket, and you're going to have, everybody will have it, and they'll email on your phone. We're like, AOL wasn't even out yet. They're like, why we want email on our phone?
You thought this was an episode of the Jetsons or something. Yeah, who would have thought?
Here we are. We can't put our phones down.
Right, yeah, if the government took our phones away, we'd be definitely lost.
Oh, God, yeah. So after the dot-com crash blew up my 20-year career, I couldn't find a job. I was like 42, and everything got outsourced to India. So I got certified as a coach because I love mentoring my employees.
What type of coach?
It was a personal and professional coach. At the time, there's only 2 accredited certifications.
Okay.
But at Cellular One in the 1990s, they used to bring in coaches. They weren't called coaches. But they're team building, so they help us come together as a team and work better, because we were growing up like ridiculous. We went from 40 employees to like 5,000 in 6 years.
Wow.
So the growth, they brought in coaches like, oh, God, I'd love to be one of those facilitators up there teaching and moderating these groups.
Who was one of the coaches that was famous back then, or y'all used?
That's back. We didn't use any of the big name coaches. Like Brian Tracy was big back then, and Zig Ziglar. These were more like local consultants, business consultants, but they weren't even called coaches at the time.
I see. So
we'd come in and we'd do the MBTI, all those personality tests.
Uh-huh.
And then they'd say, okay, this is why your team isn't functioning. You're this kind of person, and this is how you're expecting them to act, but this is how they're going to respond. So it's really interesting.
So this is a .com. You decided to do a little reset, forced to kind of reset, and you decided to go into coaching.
Yeah, it took 2 years to get certified. I went through real certifications.
So were you just drawn to work with people? I expect that you're sort of an extrovert. Do you just love business, or just
I'm
love
actually a
helping
big
people?
introvert. I grew up, my parents owned a restaurant, so I grew up in working in my parents' restaurant. Then I got into the computer industry, fixing computers. Then computer networking is invented, cellular. Grew that whole chain. 80s and 90s was fabulous.
Uh huh.
And I remember thinking, and well, with Cellular One, there was two of us in the IT department before it was even had a name for an IT department. It was like we were just two people that worked on the computers. We didn't even have a department name.
That's interesting. So you're more introverted, but I couldn't tell. You're a speaker, because I always assumed that if you're a speaker, if you're a coach, if you're working with a lot of people, you must be extrovert. But
No,
that's not the
I used to
case.
fix computers, and everybody I worked with just didn't even want to talk to the customers when we were fixing the computers. But I had the ability to actually fix the computers quickly and then explain to the person what happened and why it's broke. Well, the other
Yes.
people would fix it and they'd run out the door.
Awesome.
I
So
guess because growing up in a restaurant, my parents taught me, you got to keep the customers happy. And so I would actually call every person. I'd do like 8 to 10 service calls a day. I'd call them back the next day, say, hey, is everything still working?
wow, that's good customer service right
And
there.
nobody ever did that. I won customer service awards like crazy just by taking 10 minutes a day to call people back.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So what was your professional low point then? Was that the low point, having to kind of reinvent yourself?
Well, I thought after 20 years and be able to get a job every day. It's like people threw jobs at me for 20 years. I thought, oh, I'll bounce back from this .com crash.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I realized can't go back. I'm learning a whole new skill set. I don't know how to market. I don't know how to sell. So that's when I started learning marketing to promote my coaching practice. And I went to Dan Kennedy events.
Oh yeah, magnetic marketing.
Exactly. So all those marketers back in those days, the old school marketing, I was learning that. I met a lot of the online marketers that are really famous now when they were just getting started. So I kind of went through that path.
Right.
And then 2002 or so, I started a web agency because I enjoyed that more than the coaching. So I was building HTML websites before WordPress, and I was doing Google AdWords when it was first starting out, all that kind of stuff. And it's doing really well till 2008. Boom, there goes the economy. All these small businesses literally went out of business like they're going out right now. So I had to do another reset. At 52 years old, I'm 61 now. I applied for a job on Craigslist for an online marketing manager. And the first time I ever sent a resume in, I got a job from Craigslist doing online marketing for a company, a software company. So I was
Man.
like, wow, I go to work and it's like everybody working there is like my kid's age. I'm the gray haired guy.
Well, you have some phenomenal experience though.
So
And
that was a big, I got, oh God, yeah, I had 2 kids in college. I got a job. I'm doing well. This company went from 25 million to 150 million in 3.5 years, from 2009 to 2013 or so,
mhm.
during the worst economy. And they got venture capital money and they laid us all off.
Mm.
So I had to reset again. So I've been through 3 major resets in about 18 years.
You've gotten good at this.
I don't like it. I don't want to do it anymore.
So you decided, look, I'm going to go in business for myself.
Right. So I
Well,
learned social media and marketing, and that's how I got the opportunity to write Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business and Ultimate Guide to Twitter for Business.
yeah, you're quite the expert on, LinkedIn and business in general. All these resets have really taught you a whole lot. What was the biggest lesson that you learned during the 3 resets you had to go through?
You got to keep learning. You have to keep your skills sharp, and things are changing faster than ever, as you know. It's just technology is changing like crazy fast.
Right. So constant, never-ending improvement, or always learning, as you say, that still holds true, and that's a lesson that I think a lot that have been through peaks and valleys would say. And then everyone at this point, as we record this, is most likely at home, right? So you have to use this time to your advantage to grow, to help, not only to help people, but I would argue that you need to use this time to sharpen your skills. Would you agree?
Not only technical skills, the personal development. I think becoming the certified coach years ago really helped me mentally, because I'm always listening to like Zig Ziglar and all the motivational speakers. And my wife jokes, she goes, "You've been listening to that stuff for 20 years. Aren't you fixed yet?"
No,
like,
you have to.
no.
I mean, how many times do you listen to those same Zig Ziglar, top talks or lessons, and you're like, oh yeah. I mean, because we forget.
Well, you hear something different each time you listen to it too, because you're just in a different mindset or a different place in life.
Yes, I totally agree. I've listened to. I'm a big fan of Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, and I've listened to all those. I mean, in some cases, I guess I retired my cassette tapes, but I do have some still on DVD, and obviously my iPod and all that kind of now it's Spotify. Everything is mainly online now, but I go through it, and I was like, oh, that's so great, and you take something different from it each time. Because you're right, you're in a different spot than the last time you listened to it. So that's good advice. So there is going to be obviously a lot of people that are displaced because of the COVID-19 that can't work, that really need to be focusing on sharpening their skills, personal development. But what advice, let's say, because I know there's going to be some listeners out there, they're like, look, this is the time when I'm going to start my online business, whether that's selling products, selling services, whatever it is. What advice would you give maybe the listeners that are contemplating going out on their own?
I think you really have to be ready to do that these days, because companies come and go. The 1980s and 90s, my whole network was on those old Rolodexes. Remember those?
Yes, I do.
Literally had business cards, and they were like in this Rolodex. And that was my whole 20-year network.
Mm-hmm.
And after the .com crash, I would call people up, and their business was out of business. And all I had was their business email
mm-hmm.
and their business phone number. So we didn't have cell phones back then. We didn't have personal email really. So I lost touch with my entire personal network. So LinkedIn has helped me reconnect with a lot of people that were major parts of my network.
So you're
always got to be nurturing that network.
Uh-huh.
It's my parents always used to say, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
So your advice is to, during this time, strengthen your network.
Reach out to college alumni, your old friends, old clients, if you were in business for yourself, or coworkers. Just keep in touch, because you never know who's going to know someone that needs to hire someone.
Right. So whether you're looking to go out on your own and start a business, you need other people. And that's kind of, in my experience, been your low-hanging fruit, if you will, is that there's a lot of people that, they know you and they trust you, which are two keys to any relationship. And so if they know you and trust you, you have a leg up already. So you have a whole lot of opportunities in whatever you're doing. Maybe you don't want to go out on your own, but you're looking for your next move, your next career. And to your point, strengthening those relationships, reaching out during this time is good, not to just check on people, but also let them know what you're looking for, what you're trying to do. And you'd be surprised to know that there's a lot of people that want to help you.
Oh, there's a lot of people that need help right now, and there's companies that are hiring people and consultants.
Yes, I agree with you.
Especially now, because we have to act so fast right now. Everything literally breaking by the minute.
Yes. I mean, in every day is a whole new world, despite the coronavirus. I mean, just the technology changes every day. And, this artificial intelligence and augmented reality in the next 3 to 5 years is probably going to be very disruptive too. So
right.
you really need that personal development and developing skills, and, just being informed is critical. But to your point, right now it's more important than ever to reach out to your network, which, you're the expert, you're the LinkedIn expert. So let's shift gears now and talk more about your business. So tell me more about, because you also do business consulting too. So tell me more about the services, everything that you're doing to help the business community.
So I work with a variety of small business and medium-sized businesses for the most part. So I've kept my business pretty small because I just always want to spend more time with my family. That's for one of the reasons I went out on my own too. Being a network manager, you're working literally 80 hours a week. You have to work weekends. My kids were growing up without me. So that's when I made the decision, okay, I'm going to become a consultant, because in the late 90s, everybody had to get on the internet. It's like, what's this internet thing? I got to get on there. And I knew how to set up routers. I knew how to set up all this stuff to connect people. So like people are literally throwing money at me. Hey, get my company on the internet. And then I would take care of their computer network as they were being set up. And it was back in the day when computer networks didn't really exist in companies. So I was like kid in a candy store.
And so how does that change now? Like what do you spend most of your time doing, helping the business owner community?
So now what I do is really help them establish their brand on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I did websites for years and SEO, all that stuff. I don't do that anymore, but I have friends that do that. So you have to have a strong presence online, as we all know. People are going to search Google for you or your business name. So
even if it's a referral, everything. Yeah, even if it's a referral, they go check you out.
So put your name in Google, and usually LinkedIn comes up near the top. So your LinkedIn profile has to grab their attention right away.
So it sounds like you're mostly helping the entrepreneur, business owner with brand continuity, and the focus, I think your focus, correct me if I'm incorrect there, is on LinkedIn. So how do you help the business owners grow their business through LinkedIn, let's say?
So every day we get LinkedIn invitations to connect. And for a long time, I'd accept almost everybody's. Mm-hmm. And now I'm thinking like, well, why would I want to connect with other marketers? Because they're not going to actually refer me business. And maybe sometimes if they have different expertise than me, but most of those people I meet in person at local events or go to a lot of conferences. But, I probably get 30 invitations a day from marketers. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, let's connect and we'll do some business together. It's like, well, how often does somebody send you an email, say, let's do business together, and it actually turns into business? It doesn't.
No, well, you brought up an interesting point because, a long time ago, I think when I started on LinkedIn, it was probably 2000, I don't know, let me say 2011, maybe 2012. It was different than it is now. I feel like everyone gets, everyone's vying for attention, and we all get these connection requests. Yeah. And in that, you're just waiting. As soon as you hit accept, you're going to get a message, in your inbox there saying, thanks for the connection, and here I want you to buy this.
Right.
So I'm assuming you're going to tell me that's probably the wrong strategy, because most of those people probably get ignored, I'm guessing. I mean, what are 3 ways listeners can increase because we're all looking for leads, right? That's the point of marketing is to get the brand noticed, but it's also ultimately to spend money on marketing, you're looking to help someone new. Right. So what's 3 ways listeners can increase their flow of leads, let's say, grow their business using specifically LinkedIn?
So really the first thing is be different.
Okay.
Remember like 10 years ago, the big thing was, I have a new ebook, and fill out your name and email and you can get this free ebook with all this great information. And then you'd send them a series of emails over time selling them stuff.
Okay. So like a lead magnet.
Yeah. Everybody's caught on to that now. It's like, I don't want to put my name and email in there because you're going to send me a bunch of promotional emails.
Right. Yeah. Every day.
Right. So the same thing is now transitioned to LinkedIn. These people have moved over there where I even get invitations to connect where they're giving me a sales pitch already.
Yes.
It's like, So I take it back. I'm doing a big presentation tomorrow for a networking group that I belong to. Say, hey, we all meet in person once a month. We have breakfast and we have a great networking event. So what if you treated people on LinkedIn the same way, where you had conversations with them instead of selling to them? Get to know them. Know, like, and trust, like you said.
Right. So you mean that we shouldn't ask for their hand in marriage when we first meet them?
Right. Exactly.
That didn't work when we were all dating. I'm assuming it doesn't work now. Which
It might work better these days with Tinder, I hear.
Yeah.
But I
don't know. But in the business world, that's, you think that you have, and I think we've all fallen victim to this, that we think what we offer is so great and that people should be lining up to buy our product or services, but they don't know us. And we get that message, in the inbox on LinkedIn. It just feels like a bait and switch, like, hey, I want to connect with you. And then all of a sudden you get pitched.
Right.
And it doesn't feel good, so then you kind of ignore them or delete them. So you're saying be different, do something different. Cause that's, everyone's vying for attention, as I said. So we're looking for, like Seth Godin says, to be the purple cow.
Right. So yesterday I got 27 invitations to connect. And the message is the exact same message from 27 different people. And it was like, it's kind of even broken English. And each person changed their professional headline in LinkedIn to the exact same thing. So somebody actually taught these people some technique.
Uh-huh.
And their about section in LinkedIn was exactly the same. There's like a bunch of robots blasting this message. It didn't even make sense. And I knew they were going to sell me LinkedIn services. And I'm like, really, guys? You don't even change the message to give you this templated message and you didn't even customize it?
That's terrible.
So I just ignored them all. But now, if I did accept them, I know that I would get probably 5 messages in a row selling me LinkedIn consulting services, even though my LinkedIn profile says I'm America's leading LinkedIn coach.
Yeah, they didn't obviously read too well.
So I like to have fun or just look at their profile. I mean, the alumni thing is the no-brainer. You connect wherever you went to school, connect with people. And I went to Pitt in Pittsburgh. Hey, I saw you also went to Pitt. Go Panthers. You get 100% response on that. People always connect with alumni. And they'll even refer you business if you tell them who you're looking for.
So
that's low-hanging fruit.
Well, so what is being different? Is that being different is just not doing the same pitch as everyone else? I mean, if you're getting these pitches, don't be in that same camp. You're saying connect with your alumni or connect on some common ground and really just let the connection be the connection and figure out how you can help.
Well, do you go to local networking events?
I do a little bit, yes.
So you go to a local networking event or a conference and you meet somebody and you say, hi, I'm Ted. And I don't say, hi, I'm Ted. Do you want to hire me for LinkedIn help? It's more like we exchange business cards sometimes. And we just have a little chit chat, get to know each other.
Okay. Casual
conversation. So I like to just kind of ask fun questions with people. Like when I connect with people after they accept, my assistant came up with this. I have to give her full credit. It's just for fun. Tell me something interesting I wouldn't know from your LinkedIn profile. And they tell me interesting things. Like one guy said, I played hockey with Wayne Gretzky. It's off the wall stuff. One guy said he's married to a princess, so his son is a prince. Totally off the wall things. It starts a conversation that kind of lowers their guard.
Mm-hmm.
They realize I'm not going to send them a bunch of sales pitches now.
That's definitely being different because okay, I can see that.
Treat people like people, not like they're a bot. It's like, why do we treat people online differently than we do face to face?
So just focus on being authentic and building a relationship. And if eventually they'll know what you do, you'll talk about it. I mean, they see your profile. And if something comes up and you're there, your relationship, you're just saying, let it happen natural.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like you're having a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Back in those days, we could go to Starbucks and have a cup of coffee and have a meeting.
As soon as we're done with this lockdown, I'm sure everyone will want to do that.
Right.
Well, what's number two?
I got a great earlier this week. Somebody said, "Hi, Ted. I wanted to introduce myself in a way that showed you I was interesting, witty, and clever. Unfortunately, I wrote this message instead."
I like that. That's
that.
awesome.
It's like, I like to work with those kind of people with that sense of humor.
Yes, humor. I've heard that works really well. I think everyone likes a good laugh.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Especially
be different.
these days.
What's number two?
So the other one is, that's a just for fun. Tell me something interesting I would know from LinkedIn profile is another good one.
Okay.
But then I follow up with them with similar types of messages. One of the techniques LinkedIn experts are teaching is send 50 invitations to connect a day to strangers, and then follow up with all these messages to them, and they send them useful content. They say, what's useful content? How do I know what's useful to you until I have a conversation? So I call it being the farmer, planting seeds. And over time, some will grow, some will not. Some will become clients, some won't. But I probably have 30 conversations going on LinkedIn back and forth right now. It only takes a couple minutes a day, just having fun with people, asking questions.
Okay. So be different. Number two is follow up and just have a conversation, ask questions.
Have a normal conversation. Not one thing I do with my clients, I make them read the messages they're sending to people. So I said, read that out loud to me. It's like, would you say that to a person face to face? And LinkedIn is really big on this. Like, this is a one-to-one networking site. Unless you're running ads, you're supposed to build a relationship with each person. That's why they don't want you connecting with every person that sends you an invitation.
Yes. Okay. So we're being authentic. We're asking just conversational questions, trying to build the relationship.
Did you ever hear of Dean Jackson?
No, I haven't.
He's a really famous email marketer. And just search Google for Dean Jackson 9-word email.
Okay.
So he sends these really simple messages to people asking them one question, 9 words or less. Like, one of the things I'll do is I'll work with a client, and then like 6 months later, I'll send them a follow-up message on LinkedIn. I'll say, hey, are you still using LinkedIn to grow your business? And they'll go, oh, it was working so well, and I stopped doing it. And then I re-engage them in another engagement.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But it's a one question, and just say, they'll reply if they want that. Or if I'm doing a webinar, say, hey, I'm doing a webinar next week on how to use Sales Navigator to get more leads on LinkedIn. Are you interested? If they're interested, they say yes. I send them a link to register.
And this is after you've already built some sort of relationship. So they already kind of know a little bit about you. What is your response rate on, these relationships you have if you do follow-up questions for, a webinar or something like that?
It depends on the time and the topic. Usually I'll get a response 10 to 20% of the time.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I think so.
Only 40% of people on LinkedIn log in more than once a month.
Only 40%. Wow.
Okay. That's up from like 20%. Since Microsoft bought them a few years ago, engagement's like really skyrocketing.
Yeah, I have noticed it's gotten more well known again and more used by businesses.
Yeah, because they're integrating with Office 365 and Microsoft. Do you use Office 365?
I do. I sure do.
So if you have LinkedIn connected to your Office 365, if I send you an email, you can hover over my name in Outlook. It'll bring up my LinkedIn profile or part of it.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
And if we're not connected, I can click one button and it'll invite you to connect. I can add you to my Sales Navigator if you're using that advanced tool. So they're making it really easy to integrate with their existing products.
That's brilliant. I haven't tried that yet. I'll definitely have to do that. I need to be more active, I will say, on LinkedIn there. So this is all great information for obviously the listeners, but myself too. So what's the third way listeners can increase the flow of leads and grow their business?
Well, you can share content. That works. It's hit or miss these days if people see the content, because there's so much being pumped out onto LinkedIn. So what's working really well is short videos.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
I'll do a short LinkedIn tip, like a 1 or 2 minute tip. Like, here's how you update your professional headline, and just do a little how-to video or a headshot video explaining something.
Yeah,
Like,
because
you can jump in right now and do a quick message. Hey, the markets are in turmoil. Here's what I recommend. A tip. Don't panic or whatever. Don't sell.
right, don't sell. Yeah. Sometimes hard to do, but so I can understand why the videos, that's great advice, because I think I've always been pushing out like blogs and things like that. Of course, I push out some the podcast clips and things like that, but I would rather, a lot of times I read a lot. Sometimes I just would rather watch a video, and if it's not too long, obviously I think it would do well.
Yeah,
So that
60% of people are on their mobile device too on LinkedIn.
okay. So
So
these videos, that's great advice. So little tips or advice that has something to do with what your product or service is, the same category, I guess.
and add the captions underneath, at least the title and the first few sentences. Yeah, you can do the closed captions on the video,
Yes,
because most people, obviously the audio doesn't come on until you click the button.
right. No, that's
So let
great.
them start reading. And LinkedIn says you got to grab their attention in 3 seconds. So don't introduce yourself and say where you're from and what you do. Go right to the content directly
Get
in
to
the
the
first
point.
3 seconds. And at the end of it, say, hey, if you want more information, visit my website, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Great. That's great advice. And I would say that's contrary to what I've done or what I see, on LinkedIn. So be different, follow up, build relationships, ask, unique questions, use humor, and share content that's engaging. And you're suggesting short videos with tips or advice on something to do with the product or services that you're providing. So that's awesome. Well, as an online expert, what are some common online, let's say, mistakes that you see business owners make? I know we've already touched base on some, but what are maybe the biggest mistake you see from a LinkedIn standpoint?
Oh, like you said, don't invite me to marry you before we exchange business cards. Like, hey, give me your credit card. I'll show you how to use LinkedIn. Oh, by the way, my name is Ted.
So
People have kind of got it reversed.
right. So the biggest mistake is what we've talked about, is asking for something before they even know you. So, hey, would you like to jump on this webinar? Would you like to have a free consultation? Would you like to buy this product? Would you like to buy my book? Whatever it is, if you're going right for the ask, that's a turnoff.
Right. Let them view your profile. So your profile should be structured so when they read your headline, it's not your job title.
Yes.
It's who you help and how you help them.
Yes. So
I have skills in mind right now. I put different skills in there, like a sales navigator training, LinkedIn marketing.
So they know really quick what you do.
Yeah. The skills.
Right. And how do you, just another question I thought of is, there's, let's say if you say, well, what do you do? And I say, I'm a wealth advisor, for example. Some people know what that is, but other people don't really know what that is. So you have to kind of bring it down to a level. It's like, what do you do? And what do you really do? So for example, wealth advisor. Okay. Well, what exactly does that mean? Well, I help entrepreneurs reach financial independence by making complex financial strategies simple.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, do you find that most people on their profile or their bios, that they're using language that no one understands, or a title that really doesn't make sense to them?
And they put too many certifications at the end of their name. Like, what are all those? Maybe in your industry, people know what they are, but who knows what that stuff is? But years ago, I took a copywriting course, and the instructor was brilliant. He said, when you put something online, you have to make it so simple and so clear that Homer Simpson would know exactly what you're talking about.
That's so true.
Oh my God, that just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I hear it all the time. When people are scanning content, it's like 3rd or 4th grade level of intellect is what's grabbing their attention.
Right.
So it's got to be so clear and so simple. Like, and you have to be really careful what you put in yours, right? Because you have all the problems with you can't have recommendations in your profile
Or
as a wealth manager.
guarantees. Right. Yeah. And finance industry, I mean, just like a lot of industries, there's a lot of jargon, and it can be very difficult if you use jargon, and just it's not so easy the way that we speak to, like, someone else in the industry. The end consumer, most of them will be like, what just happened? It's just like if I talk to my wife about, she works in the dental field, and if you start talking to her about, canine, this number 5, whatever her terminal, I'm like, I don't even know what you just said. Do I have a
Right.
cavity or not? So I think you
Exactly.
have to be careful, what you're, like you're saying, what is your message? Is it easily read? And a caveman needs to, or Homer Simpson needs to have
Right.
been able to interpret what you're saying. And
I saw a financial advisor. She had the best headline. So, would you like to retire with the same standard of living you have now or better?
that's good.
I think her compliance department made her take it down because she doesn't use it anymore, but she says it in her about section.
Oh, the compliance department, they're what I call sales prevention. So
You're making promises. Like, what do you mean?
right. Well, so who is your typical client then? So is it obviously it's entrepreneurs, but what size business? Is there a certain niche or sector that you're looking for that you specialize in?
Well, most of my clients, I have financial advisors, coaches. Gosh, one woman helps people overcome their fear of speaking. A whole variety, mostly smaller businesses.
Okay. What's smaller business to you? Revenue size.
Oh, anywhere from 1 to 20 employees.
Okay. Any revenue ranges or just employees?
Well, that's something I've discovered. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Facebook Pixel, where you put code on your
Yes.
website and it gives you information from Facebook about who comes to your website.
Yes.
So LinkedIn has their own version of it. It's called the Insight Tag.
Okay. I did not know that.
I put that on my website. And it turns out 65% of my website visitors are in business development or sales.
Interesting.
And I have LinkedIn training and business stuff, but I had no training for salespeople. So this Insight Tag's telling me, like, oh my God, there's all these people, and the company size tells you the company size. So company size 2 to 200 are the people coming to my website. And then I can look at those companies that are actually coming to it and then look at their revenues. But just by putting this free code on my website, it matches it up with LinkedIn data. It's like, oh my God, it opened up a whole new market that's going to be more lucrative than my current market.
Wow. So how did you install that?
Just like the Facebook Pixel, it's a little code. You have to go into LinkedIn advertising. You open up an advertising account for free, and then you have to go in and take it. If you search Google for LinkedIn Insight Tag installation,
okay,
and it's just like the Facebook Pixel, a little piece of code you put in your website, and then it cookies people back to their LinkedIn profile.
I see.
Well, you don't get the name of them, but you get company size, job function, job title, all kinds of great information.
That's great advice. I did not know that was out there. So for listeners who want to know who in the LinkedIn world is visiting their site, that's valuable, insight.
And location. So if you put it on yours, you'll know exactly what level a person is coming to your website for information.
I'm going to have to do that. Thank you, Ted.
And then you can start, reaching out to them on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Well, for listeners who want your help, like one-on-one with, maybe it's LinkedIn, marketing for their business, or just like a speaking coach, what's the best way we should contact you or, get a hold of you?
My website is yourlinkedincoach.com.
Yourlinkedincoach.com. We'll put that in the show notes. Thanks, Ted. So we'll move on now to the rapid fire session, where we get to know you a little bit better. as listeners. So the first question is, what do you do to keep your edge?
Oh gosh, I'm a nerd. I just love technology. I'm always reading magazines or online stuff. Just always learning, listening to videos, podcasts.
Awesome. So what podcast do you typically listen the most?
Mostly marketing guys. I'm a marketing nerd these days.
You listen to the Magnetic Marketing podcast?
Yeah. And the Digital Marketer, they have one. They have a couple good ones.
I'll have to add that one to my list. Yeah. So that constant, never-ending improvement, I can definitely tell that is something that's important to you, and it served you well.
Yeah. When you're walking the dog, listen to a podcast.
Yeah. We typically, a lot of people listen as they commute. I know the commute time is down right now, but I would definitely encourage people to look for podcasts like Profits to Wealth or Magnetic Marketing, Digital Marketing. There's so many out there. Find something that resonates with what you're looking for, and just listen to it on your downtime.
Have you seen that commercial for audible.com? I think it is.
Which one?
This woman she leaves home in the morning. She gets on the bus, gets on the train, gets in the car. Then she comes home and her husband goes, "You work from home. Why are you commuting?" Listening to audible.com.
Wow, that's so true. Yeah. And I'll say it, the Audible account has been down a little bit for me because I haven't been commuting, but love Audible. So
yeah.
Constant, never-ending improvement. So next question. So far, who has had the most impact on your life?
I'd have to say Perry Marshall. He's the guy I met at a Dan Kennedy conference. He taught me Google AdWords. I've been in his coaching program for almost 20 years. And he's the one that actually got me the book deals with his publisher. So I've written 5 books in 8 years because of Perry.
Nice. So he's had the most impact and just motivated you to write?
He wrote the best-selling book for Google AdWords and Facebook marketing for Entrepreneur Press. And they said, "Hey, Perry, we need a LinkedIn book and a Twitter book. You want to write them?" So he reached out to me. We were supposed to co-author them. And then he goes, "I don't even have a Twitter account or a LinkedIn account, so you just write the books."
Wow. So that's, how do we get your books?
Amazon, or come to my website. You can buy them both right there.
Okay. Awesome.
YourLinkedInCoach.com.
We'll definitely put those in the show notes. So if you could recommend one book or resource, what would it be?
Oh, one book, huh?
Yeah, just one.
Oh, boy. Think and Grow Rich is one that had a big impact on me.
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, I read that many years ago. I read it every year. At the beginning of January, I start the year reading that again.
What's most impactful of what he said in the book?
It's just how he kind of laid it all out. It's kind of fun reading that really old language.
It's like The Richest Man in Babylon.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Two great books. What do you do in your free time?
Oh, my wife and I like to hike, bike ride. We love to ski. We love to be outdoors. Go to the beach, go to the mountains.
So have you been doing a lot of that now?
Well, the ski season ended abruptly.
But you can still go outside.
I know, but they got 12 feet of snow since they closed the slopes a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
The best skiing of the year.
Yeah.
But we got it next year.
Yeah. Outdoor person. Okay.
Yeah.
What does financial freedom mean to you? Because here on this show, and obviously my main role is a financial advisor. And as I stated, my number one mission is to help entrepreneurs achieve that financial freedom or financial independence by making financial and business concepts simple. And to me, it means financial freedom means peace of mind, knowing that you have enough assets and income to create your own paycheck to make work optional. What does it mean to you?
That's a good question, because my kids are grown. My son's 28. My son, he's in the finance world now. My daughter's 31. They're both on their own, doing really well. And last year we sat down with our financial advisor and we're kind of going over everything. He goes, "You're there. You're done. You could retire."
Wow.
We didn't even realize it.
Now, how good did that make you feel?
Oh my God, it was life-changing. We're still working because we like what we're doing, but but it's just that, oh my God, we're there.
That is
Now,
awesome.
with the reset we're going through right now, we still have to go a few more years, but
But
no,
that
we've
is
been in our house for 30 years and, you know,
that's awesome, Ted. I'm happy for you because I mean that's a great feeling to, you know, even in the face of a lot of uncertainty, to know that, hey, we'll be fine, and I'm doing what I like because I'm passionate about it, which is
and it was
critical.
so easy because we just did 401ks and put the maximum amount in, and like, oh, 30 years later, oh, there's all this money there.
You're there. Yeah. I love it. Well, how does Ted want to be remembered?
Be remembered as someone that really helped a lot of people. I mean, my wife's a nurse practitioner, and I grew up in a restaurant, just giving and serving. I just love helping people, and I don't expect much in return. I just want everybody to be happy.
Well, that's noble. I think that's what it's about, especially not only during times like now. Obviously, you hear more about help your neighbor, but I think it's that is an awesome legacy, something to be remembered by, as someone, you know, Ted was a man that loved to help people, and that's noble.
And my wife is me on steroids, helping everybody.
Well, thank your wife for all that she does. I know, especially, you know, every day, but especially now, I know it's a trying time, and she's probably on the front line there.
Yeah, she is.
So thank her
Fingers
as well.
crossed.
Yes, absolutely. Last question. I'm all about tips and tricks to shorten the time it takes to get to true success. So what's one parting tip or advice you'd like to share with our listeners?
It's really about the journey, about, you know, marketing your business or growing your business. That was when Kobe Bryant, one of his quotes was, it's not about the game and winning the championship. It's about the practice and the hundreds and thousands of hours I spent practicing. So it's the same thing with your business. It's not about the finish line. It's about enjoying every day and helping people every day, the whole journey.
That's so true. I know we all look forward to tomorrow, but there's so much to be said for today. So many opportunities, a lot of reasons to be grateful for today, and enjoying the journey, you know, because I think we always want to rush through life to get to some type of goal. Then when we get to that goal, it's like, okay, what was the big deal? Let's make another goal. But you're right. Let's enjoy the journey. That's such good advice. Thank you, Ted.
Yeah, that really resonated when Kobe died, and those quotes he said, it's like, oh my God.
Yes, it's very true. Well, Ted, this has been wonderful, very helpful, sage advice that you've given us. I know I have a lot of work to do on my own LinkedIn marketing skills here. So really appreciate your expertise and advice. And we'll definitely put links to your website in the books there in the show notes for listeners that want to reach out specifically for your help.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ted. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
That's all for this episode of Profits to Wealth. But we have more resources available to you on our website. Head over to profitstowealth.com and take our questionnaire to find out how we can provide you with a tailored approach to your entrepreneurial journey. It's available exclusively on profitstowealth.com. Until next time, we look forward to talking business, money, and freedom right here on Profits to Wealth.